What's going on, guys? It's time to tell you about this ticket that I got recently. As a few of you might know if you follow me on Instagram, just based on the stories that I got a ticket and my buddy Ignis got a ticket as well. And this was a few months back, but I wanted to get everything figured out and ironed out and all that stuff before I actually give you guys the lowdown and tell you exactly what happened. As we were in downtown Columbus in the afternoon, and it was me and my buddy Ignis, as a lot of you guys know. He has a really bright Austin yellow M4. Mine, not so bright, but it can get a little nasty when I get on it. So anyways, what happened was I started accelerating from a red light. It turned green. I went and I got on it a little bit. I mean, I don't even think I broke traction or anything like that. I was not racing because he was right behind me. And it's a 30-mile-an-hour road. Really slow, like fairly congested, a decent amount of cars, you know, parallel parking, all that good stuff. If you guys are familiar with downtown Columbus, Short North area, that's where it was. Very like populated, so it's hard to get faster than like 30 even if you wanted to. So, and I wasn't speeding. So what happened is, after I accelerated, of course my exhaust is pretty loud, it projects really far back, and then my buddy Ignis kind of accelerated abruptly as well. There's a cop coming down a side street kind of perpendicular to the way we were going. He whipped out right behind us and followed us for like, I don't know, a few minutes. And of course I saw him, so I made sure not to do anything crazy because I'm like, oh shoot, you know, we sort of got on it a little bit. Maybe it was a little noisy or whatever, but no big deal. But maybe like less than a mile down the road, he flips on the lights. He is following me because my buddy Ignis got over. So he was following me, so I kind of went off to the side, and so he got out, and then like a second later, Ignis is about to pass us because he was behind us, and he pointed for him to pull over too. So we had both of us pulled over, and the ticket was for a loud exhaust, and the second part in the warning section, so the main ticket was actually for a loud exhaust, which I guess if I'm on it is pretty darn loud. Which I've never had a ticket for. I've never even had a speeding ticket ever. I've had some warnings back in the day, but I've never had a speeding ticket. I've had a license plate ticket, but nothing, no moving violation. So my record is really clean. So anyways, he gave me a ticket for the exhaust, and he wrote in the warning section, he wrote street racing. So I don't know if I can show you guys that, but right there he wrote street racing, which from the reason why this is such a big deal to me is because if he types that into the computer, it's gonna be on the ticket, on my record. So if I get pulled over again for whatever it happens to be, they're gonna see someone typed in street racing, which is automatically like, I would probably not get any breaks. So that's why it was such a big deal. The exhaust really, to me, isn't a big deal. And the best kicker is that he gave my buddy Ignis, who is a stock M4, pretty much, besides wheels and a couple other things, stock exhaust, a ticket for exhaust as well. So he gave us both tickets for exhaust and both warning for street racing on this same ticket. And so what I did was I tried to figure out, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna pay it? It was $150, the ticket was $150. Am I gonna seek out a lawyer? What I don't really want this on my record. So what I ended up doing was seeking out a lawyer, and it was just through referrals. He's just very good kind of in the area. It took a few weeks because I don't think the cop showed up for at least one of the court dates. Maybe at least two of them, I don't know, because he was a young dude and he didn't get it. I've never had a situation where I get pulled over and they're dicks, honestly. I've been pretty lucky. I'm always respectful. Usually what happens is I'll go through like a yellow/red light, for example. This happened like down the street, and I was right behind this car and he was going just so slow, and I should have like slammed on the brakes, but it was sort of that awkward thing where I just like, okay, fine, let's just go. And of course there was a cop, so he pulled me over. And as soon as he was like, dude, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just, you know, I glided through, my bad. Like, I get it. What do you need? He didn't even ask for my insurance. He just wanted to see my license. He's like, you know, be safe, don't do it again. I'm like, okay. Like, I admitted that I did something wrong. And he was cool, you know, it wasn't anything reckless, that situation, and the thing in the Short North wasn't either, but he was honestly a complete dick for like no reason. He was clearly young, maybe like even my age, I don't know, but I said, is there anything we can do? Can we work anything out? I understand my exhaust is fairly loud, but like, we weren't actually street racing. And he admitted that he couldn't prove we were street racing, but he could hear it, and then he saw us drive by, even though that's like impossible for us to even like try. Like, there's 2 lanes don't even stay together for very long because of so much traffic. It's almost impossible. So but he was claiming he could have seen us street racing, and I'm like, there's no reason for that. Like, it's very unnecessary. And I said, is there anything we can work out? And he said, no, you're definitely getting a ticket today. I'm like, all right, okay, dude, all right. I see how, like, I get it. I get your attitude now, whatever. Like I mentioned, I did seek out a lawyer, and it took a few weeks, but the ticket was dismissed. And so I did have to pay a lawyer, and the only other fee I paid was the court fees. So and the lawyer was super cheap, so I ended up only paying like maybe $110, $120 more than I would have if I would have paid for the ticket by itself. But really the biggest thing is the fact that like he wrote street racing. If it wasn't for that, I might have just paid it and not stressed out about it and waited a few months and submitted stuff and tried to document stuff and do this video and all that stuff. So, and the kicker, I mean, like freaking Ignis got a ticket for a stock car. Like, so what are you gonna do? Call the manufacturer and tell everyone that any Ferrari that drives down the road is gonna have a ticket now? Like, come on, like, honestly, there's better things to do. And actually, speaking of Ignis, he was involved in this, so you might as well include him. He mentioned that he found out that there's no noise ordinance in that area past like before 10 p.m. or something, and it was at like, what time is this ticket? 4 p.m. So before dinner time, when everyone's definitely awake. There's no noise ordinance in that area. So anyways, ticket is dismissed. Absolutely nothing on my record. I didn't get any further details from the attorney. They just sent me a letter confirming everything is done and everything's fine. But this was my only ticket I've ever had. This car, makes you want to do crazy stuff, but that wasn't, it was just honestly so unwarranted. I feel like I wanted to share this and I want to get your thoughts. I feel like Troy Sowers, like I don't get pulled over, like I just don't. Like everyone's like, I can't believe you haven't had a speeding ticket. I can't believe this. I'm like, well, I try to be, I might be jinxing myself now, I probably am. But I try to be as smart as I can. Like if there's a bend in the highway and it's really flat and there's areas for the cops to hide, there might be a cop hiding, so probably don't speed there. Or bring a radar detector, or bring Waze, or don't do it in an area where like all the troopers get on and off the exit, or I don't know. Like you try to like, I'm not saying that my theory is perfect, but so far it's working. And there will be one day where I'll get a ticket, I'm sure, for speeding, because I go above the speed limit pretty frequently, especially when I'm driving the M3. I mean, it just makes you want to speed. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. Anyways, that is my story. I hope you guys can hopefully relate to some extent in the good ways, hopefully. But it's like 40, 42 degrees outside. I wanted to get out to the garage, kind of, get out here. I had a couple things to do, and I did drive the M3 after like 10 days. So if you're wondering, I don't fully winterize it, but when the roads have salt and it's snowy and there's tons of just all kinds of junk everywhere, it's just awful. And that's where the Jeep is honestly my savior of from all that. There's no signs of rust on my 335 or this car. Like, these cars are gonna stay really nice for a really long time. And to be honest with you, it's not fun to drive in winter in this car. It's just not. Like, you don't have traction, even if you have snow tires. Like, you can't really go that fast if it's too cold and icy and all that stuff. It's not fun. I mean, there's the days where it's dry out, it dries out, and that's fine, but it's just not fun. You have to wait for forever to warm up, and it's never fully warm. It's a lot to stress out about. I know it's like first world problems, but like, I don't prefer to drive this car when it's that cold. Usually above 40. Sometimes if it's 30, that's fine. But I have no freaking traction. I wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm stupid, if you think I'm crazy, or I think I'm too good to have a ticket on my record, or whatever, it's fine, it's all good. but I feel like street speed here, except for this is the one and only, and it's not even a moving violation. So even if I paid it, it would really be no big deal, but I didn't want the street racing thing on. So obviously never race with this car, ever. Definitely never, ever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.